a crafter and a person who loves to sew, I recently realized that I very rarely make things for myself to wear or alter my own clothes. My first thought when I'm making something is usually, who can I give this to as a gift? Or would people like this if I sold it in my Etsy shop? But I was shopping for some summer clothes a few months back, and I caught myself feeling a little bit sad that these cute lace-trimmed shorts I kept seeing in stores were definitely too short to be flattering or comfortable on my particular body. Then I realized, Lauren, you sew for a living. Adding cute lace trim to an otherwise boring pair of shorts has to be easy enough to figure out. So I did, and I thought I'd show you how I did it in case you want to try it too. I picked up 2 yards of this lace trim at a craft store to use for this project. First, I lined it up along the inside of the hem of these plain shorts to see what it would look like and to make sure that it would be even all the way around. Once I was happy with the width, I started pinning the trim to the shorts every few inches, checking to make sure that it was relatively even each time. I decided to sew the trim on by hand so the seam wouldn't show through on the outside of the hem. As I went all the way around the leg, I kept turning the shorts to make sure that the trim would lay flat. Once I got back around to where I started, I trimmed off the extra lace, leaving a bit of overlap just in case. Then I turned the leg inside out to make sewing it on a little bit easier. I took a pretty long piece of white thread to match the lace, threaded a sewing needle, and then tied a big knot at the end. My goal with these stitches was to grab only a shallow bit of the shorts fabric with my needle, so the stitch would not go through to the front, and also make sure that I grab a good piece of the lace so it would stay put. To try and keep these as durable as possible, I started with a few stitches perpendicular to the trim right around where my knot ended up. I also checked to make sure that my stitches aren't going through to the front. I decided to use whip stitches for my shorts, but you could use any kind of stitch that you're comfortable with. They don't have to be super neat since you won't see them later, but they should be tight and close together so the lace does not come loose or fall off. So I took my time, sewed all the way around the inside of the leg, pulling out pins as I went, and I occasionally checked to make sure that the stitches weren't going all the way through the shorts. If you run out of thread halfway through like I did, make a stitch and pull your needle through the loop to tie a knot, and just repeat that a few times, and then trim off your excess thread. Then just take a new piece of thread, put it back through your needle, and tie another knot at the end, and then just start right where you left off before. You won't see these knots when you're wearing the shorts, so you don't have to worry about trying to hide them. When you get back around to where you started, trim the overlap a little if you need to, and then sew through both layers of the lace where it overlaps. I added some extra stitches on the end of the trim where it overlaps on both sides to try and keep these shorts as durable as possible. This was sort of difficult with the lace I picked because it was starting to fray on the ends, but it worked. Tie a few knots when you're done with that and cut off the excess thread, and then you can flip the hem right side out. This is totally optional, but if your lace is fraying like mine is, just add a little bit of Fray Check to the ends and you should be all set. Repeat this whole process on the second leg, making sure that you place and pin the trim so it matches what you did before. Since I had some extra lace left over, I decided to add it inside of the front pockets as well. I cut a piece to fit, pinned it in place, and sewed it to the pocket. For these, I started along the sides to keep the ends from poking out of the pocket, and then I sewed along the long edge of the trim like I did on the legs. Once I got to the other end, I tied a bunch of knots to secure it, trimmed off the extra thread, and added a bit of Fray Check to the ends. This project can take some time, especially if you're extra careful like I am, but I really liked how it came out. You can adjust the design however you want, but these basic steps should help you out regardless. You could get wider trim to make the shorts longer, crochet the trim yourself, or even add lace trim to something else like a sweatshirt or jacket. So that's all there is to it. I've been wearing these shorts a lot this summer, and I'm already starting to think about ways that I can do this kind of thing to more of my less interesting items of clothing, just to kind of get new life out of them. I hope that you enjoyed this simple tutorial, and I will see you soon.